Prompt engineering may be the most important skill of this decade. Let's face it, AI models are on the rise and things like agentic AI will take over in the coming years. Knowledge will be fully democratized and most tasks of our daily lives will be fully carried out by these agents. This goes as far as even people will start to be cloning themselves artificially. Just recently, I listened to a podcast by Raoul Pal, and he said that his team around him is working on a fully artificial version of himself that basically anyone can speak to and learn from the knowledge that he has gathered over the years. It's crazy, isn't it? So what we should probably do is to get used to these tools, as you and I don't want to fall behind. Otherwise, they will rule us one day. That's not what we want, right? In this video, I will show you how you can turn a language model like GPT into your study sparring partner, so you can learn any skill you want much faster. It's really powerful. Let's go. Alright guys, so as you may know, I am currently enrolled in a software development course and I will be learning things like JavaScript over the next 6 months. And there, during this course, we have to do certain submissions of projects and tasks. And one task was that we render Game of Thrones characters. So that's good for all you Game of Thrones fans. I have never watched a single fucking episode of Game of Thrones, so I have no idea who any of the characters are. Any of the story, I have no idea about it. As I said, the task was that we render Game of Thrones characters on a website, and that's what we will now basically be doing. So if you wanted to learn a new skill, as I said, in this case, coding, we could say something along the lines of, "Hey GPT, how are you? Remember to always be nice to your AI. You never know. As you may know, I am a beginner learning to code. Currently, I learn JavaScript and would appreciate a study plan over the next 6 weeks." So this could be a great idea to really give you a guidance on how you can approach this new skill that you want to learn over the next weeks. So let's see what GPT brings us here. As you can also see here, it's in German, but says that memory is updated. And yeah, that's also great that, for example, in my case, you don't have to send code that you have sent like 2 hours before. It will remember that and you don't have to always send the same shit all over again. So, okay, what it says here now for, let's say we are a true beginner and we want to start learning JavaScript. We would start with the basics and the syntax. We would do an introduction to JavaScript, learn about variables, data types, and so on and so forth. And you see, okay, this gives us already a good direction of the basics that we need to learn in order to learn the fundamentals of JavaScript. And there it says also, it gives us a clear goal, get comfortable with basic syntax and data structure. I could also say now, okay, let's talk about week 1. Give me a measurable, and again, I'm a foreigner, goal for the first week. And give me some tasks, please. I will check for the solution with you later. So again, this is not relevant for our Game of Thrones task here, but I think that's still helpful to include this here as you can use it for your study plan. So let's say the goal for week 1 would be that by the end of the week, we should be able to write simple JavaScript programs using variables, operators, conditionals, and loops. And our task would be that we create a program that declares variables for different data types, print out the values of each variable in the console. I could say, okay, I'm not really happy with this. And I would say, I am not yet happy with this, being honest. Give me a clear task like it's an exam. I want to build a calculator. Okay, that's better. Create a JavaScript program that prompts the user to input 2 numbers. Then we should do certain operations, like the calculator should perform things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so on and so forth. It should have an error handling. So you see, you can really use this to structure your own study journey basically together with GPT, and then it has this memory that it constantly updates about you, you can always check back and really check for your progress. Yeah. But I digress here. I want to go back now to our Game of Thrones task, but this was just, I think, a nice inclusion for you to know, okay, you can actually do these sort of study plans with GPT. I have prepared here this Thrones API. It's basically where all the information about the characters, like the name, etc., the image and so on, are saved. And now I have written this code, and let's say I would be stuck now. So currently I am writing a function to access the Game of Thrones API. I am kind of stuck. And you see, you can really talk like you're talking to another human being. It's really crazy, actually. It will understand anything almost that you're saying. This is my current code. To be honest, I do not yet understand what asynchronous or async functions are. Please explain to me like I am a 5-year-old. All right, let's see what comes out. First of all, it breaks it down what an async function is. Imagine you're making a sandwich and you need to toast some bread. I really love this. But while you're waiting for the toaster, you don't just stand there doing nothing, right? You might do and grab the butter. And it's awesome, isn't it? It's awesome. It's so good how you get something broken down like you're a 5-year-old in seconds. Basically explains us in this fashion what an async function is. And now our code breaks down what would be next for us to do. And now it also explains how this asynchronous function works in our function via the fetch command. And why do we need it there anyway? That's also one thing that I like to ask GPT sometimes, like, why would I need this? Or why would I want to do this? Or why is it needed here? Or, you know, these kind of things. You can really ask like you're a stupid little kid, which I am. All right. Okay, let's see how we can move on here. Okay, I have written this render character, or I have given it here, and now I actually need to write this. Let's speed this up again. All right, so now we have the code together for the, let me quickly format this. All right, so let's try to render our characters from the API. And again, this API thing is not important. What's important is how you can, that you understand how you can use GPT for your advantage. And okay, I'm now on our page and I don't see, I see here in the console, okay, here are my characters, and I just pre-checked. Again, I'm an absolute Game of Thrones noob, but this looks like a Game of Thrones character to me, and it actually says it here. So we are fetching the data correctly, but it's not, as you can see, it's not appearing on the website. What do we see here? Uncaught in promise, reference error, character is not defined. So let's grab this and say I wrote a render function now. It doesn't work somehow though. This is the message I get. You want to see my function? And again, I'm just fucking around here. So basically I would write much more concise sentences and get to the point much quicker. But I think for the sake of this video, yeah, just for the fun of it, it makes sense to do this kind of thing. And it says, yes, I'm happy to look at your function. The error you're seeing suggests that there's a variable or object character that is being used without being defined. All right. Okay. So it looks like GPT is ready for the code. And then I post this here. And it says, okay, that we are not actually accessing the characters array. But I think this will still not work. And this happened to me numerous times, as GPT is, of course, still not perfect. And sometimes it doesn't catch what's wrong. And you see it here. And I know now that in this case, we need to hand over this parameter here as we saved this information from this JSON in this variable here. Sorry for the nerd talk here, but yeah. So now, okay, so it's still not working. So what we do now is the code is still not working, unfortunately. Maybe you have an idea? Then we copy this. It looks like the issue is still related to the name mismatch. In your render character function, you're correctly passing characters as a parameter, but inside the function, you're using character. Is that? Ah, yeah, look at that. Yeah. Okay, let's change that. And you see, okay, we have the characters already. Great. And we also have it on our console, so it all worked out. And this is basically how you can, so honestly, without this help, it's really difficult to sometimes see those small syntax errors, especially with coding, for example. There's just so many details sometimes that you are just missing and that you can then catch with GPT. Yeah, probably I would have found a mistake at some point, but it just makes it so much faster, you know? And yeah, now you could argue, okay, that's copy paste, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes these tasks are really tedious, you know? Sometimes you just miss the plus sign, for example. So if I would remove that now, I would see only one character and I would freak out. Why is there only one character? And then again, I could paste this and say, okay, GPT, I don't know why there is only one character that's being rendered. And these are small things, you know, small minor things. And it sees, okay, you can do that. You need to add those to the existing inner HTML. And you can do that with the plus equal operator. And that's what we had before. So that's why it would work. All things that happened to me already and were just really frustrating and were made so much easier by working together with GPT. And as I said, if you use all these methods that I gave you now, that you maybe think about, okay, what kind of skill you want to learn, and then go and set up a study plan, really use GPT as your study sparring partner, adjust it to the amount of how much you want to use it. You can also limit it, of course, for yourself and really track your progress also. Yeah, you can do so many things. You can create tables where you can track your progress. So the possibilities are really endless. Yeah. With this video, I wanted to give you some sort of direction with a little practical example. And I hope you like this. As I said, these things are not going to disappear. They are going to be included into our daily life more and more, and they will be of much higher importance in the future. So I hope you enjoyed that video and you could take something out of it for your own personal study journey. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe, guys. I'm a small creator, so every like, every subscribe, every comment helps. I would say, let's talk in the next one. I appreciate you guys. If you watched until here, you're a legend, and see you in the next video, guys. Peace.